Hello, everyone. This is my first podcast ever that I'm doing. I'm super excited. My name's Tony. If you guys don't know, it's your first time coming to the YouTube channel. Thank you and welcome. And to those of you returning, oh my gosh, I got a mic. Can you believe it? I really kept talking myself out of buying this microphone. I've been wanting to do podcasts for a really long time. And I finally was like, Tony, just buy it. So I did, as you can see. I tested it earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of ASMR sounding. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But no, it's a really cool mic. So I'm still learning how to use it and kind of work out the kinks with it. So if this video ends up coming out really bad in regards to like audio and like the volume, I'm really sorry. I'm still learning. But besides that, hey guys, this is my first time doing a podcast, and of course, since I've just recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in political science, I decided what better way to kick off my podcast series than to talk politics. Oh my gosh, politics, it's so scary, it's this crazy idea. I really didn't want to get into anything today too heavy, too specific. Actually, the purpose of me doing this podcast is to kind of shed some light on why politics plays such an important role in our lives, especially in my life. People tend to view politics, anything involving politics, as like this taboo thing to not discuss, to kind of hide behind and not ever really have good discussion about. You know, it's this untouchable subject for a lot of people. And I know, like, me and my friends, we always talk politics, we have debates, because we love that, you know, all of us were like poli-sci majors, so we're like, yes, we can talk about the election, that's so fun. But I know some people aren't really interested in politics, but hopefully I can change your mind if you're one of those watching, and I'm really excited to kind of share some of my own personal thoughts about the political system and how we can be more engaged and how we can learn to really appreciate what good can come from politics as opposed to what you see in the media nowadays, which is just all politics bad. And it's not. There's a lot of good to it, and there's a reason why we need a system that can operate for the people. So that's my kind of spiel for the day. I'd like to just kind of go over some of the topics that I want to talk about. So it's not going to be a long podcast today. I'm just kind of going to ease in. I wonder if my cracked knuckle got in on the... Oh, sorry if you didn't like that. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Like I said, I'm new to this. Okay, back to the subject. So yeah, like I said, we do see politics as this subject not to talk about. You know, it's so common for people to be taught at an early age, at a young age, that, you know, there's two things you don't discuss at the table during Thanksgiving: religion and politics. But I actually hate that. And I'm not saying, of course I love politics, so it's not like I'm saying, yeah, every family function, let's just get everyone together and start having a heated debate. But it's more like, why do we have such a stigma around talking politics? I think the only way you're going to strengthen your views, the only way that you personally are going to grow and learn about something that you might not have known about the political system, is if you hear other viewpoints, if you hear other people talking about it. I definitely wanted to talk about why that makes sense. There's a lot of problems with having political debates, and so people are very scared to voice their opinion, and I fully understand why. And I think there's a lot of problems in how people debate, how people go about talking politics to people and talking about their views. And I really wish we would kind of kill that, you know, nip that in the bud and just be able to talk, be able to just have human conversation about our beliefs without the fear of being ridiculed, without the fear of someone like saying that you're wrong and you're ignorant for your beliefs. And in the past, I've personally had a problem with, you know, doing this myself. Everyone's guilty of it. I'll be talking to a conservative friend and, you know, I'll just automatically think, no, that's crazy, like that you think that way, like my way should be right. This is what I'm taught my whole life. And it really should not be like that. I hate that. And I'm trying to do better myself with not doing that as much. But I also think a lot of times when we debate, we're not listening to what the other person has to say. That is a huge, huge thing that I wish society would kind of talk about. If I'm talking about someone, about a political candidate that I personally don't agree with, or I don't like, or I don't want to vote for, if they're telling me why I should vote for them, if they're telling me some of their good policy plans, some of the things that they really see for our future, for our country, when they're telling me all of those points, I am not, I'm not going to fully listen to every point. Instead, it's human nature for us to sit there and think, how can I, have a rebuttal for that? How can I disprove what they're saying? How can I talk about my candidate to make them seem so much better? And I think we're all guilty of this at some point or another. But I think the key is acknowledging it. I think the key is to understand that this is human nature. We do tend to not always listen as well as we should. But I think if we can understand that, it would go such a long way when we are talking about politics with other people. Oh, this is a huge one. This one is a huge one for me it's one of the things I've just learned. Finally, 4 years of studying politics, and this is what I finally got out of it. But I think it's really important to admit two things, and I'll go over the first one. I think it's really important to admit when your own political party, whichever it may be, the main two, independent, Green Party, any libertarian, any political party that you have, I think it's really, really crucial to admit when you don't agree with something in your party. I think so often we feel like we have to blindly follow every single thing about our political party. And I think that's just not life. That's not realistic. You're not going to agree with 100% of the things that your party is pushing out. And their platform, you're not always going to agree with what they decide to do or what laws they decide to pass, and that's totally okay. It'd be crazier to just blindly believe every single thing that your party tells you, but I feel like there are some people out there, not calling y'all out, but there are some people that do that on both sides, but I, as a very strong supporter of the Democratic Party, wow, shocker if y'all didn't know, but new people watching, you might not have known, I've been pretty bipartisan so far, I think, but there's been times recently where I have to kind of step back and look at my own self, my own perspective, and realize, I can't support that. I don't support this element of what our party is saying. And I think it's important, I think both sides should do that. Admit when you don't agree with your party. Admit that you see a flaw in a certain element of what they're doing. And if we did that, I think if we can call out the own flaws within our political parties, I think it'd be so much easier to have discussion with people and say, I like what your party's doing. I like what your approach of handling this certain situation, this certain issue. I like that, and I can see how we can learn from that, and I can see how we can grow from that. So I definitely think that's a huge thing, is admitting when you don't agree with everything that your party says, and to be conscious of that, to be conscious of the fact that, there's always going to be something that's not, perfect, not absolutely up your alley of what you believe. So that's very important. A second thing I recently have been thinking about, and that I hope you guys can kind of focus on more, is admitting when you don't know something. Crazy, I know. Admitting when you don't have all the knowledge that you would like to be able to participate as much as you can in a political debate. So at I like to use a story real quick. At one of our college Democrat meetings, there was a guy, we were talking about current events in the news, and I don't remember what it was. I want to say it had something to do with Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden on the debate stage, and something they had said, I cannot remember. But, we were going around, and our president was asking everyone, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? Like, what are your takes? What are your thoughts? And he got to one guy, and the guy kind of got quiet for a second. I was like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? This doesn't ever happen. We're college Democrats. We always have something to say. And he stops. There's a long pause. And he says, I'm not too educated on this. I actually did not watch the debate, so I really don't feel comfortable talking about this. I don't feel like I have enough opinion of it to say how I feel. So I would like to refrain from the question, but I'd love hearing what you guys have to say about it. That is so admirable, and that made me stop and think. There's so many times, especially me as like a political science major, when I I don't want to say BS it, but yeah, I BS it. I pull facts from random places and I'm like, I have to know the statistics. I have to know everything. And I'm like Googling stuff. And it's okay. I think everyone in society should listen to me here. It's okay not to know every single thing. And it's okay to admit you don't feel comfortable talking about a subject, or you would like to have a time where you can actually research more of the subject and you'd feel more comfortable talking about it. That should be normalized. That should be such a normal thing. We should never be afraid to say, I don't know that. I mean, there's been times where someone's like, you're a political science major? What do you think about the 1932, 34, I don't even know the election year, 1930 blah, blah, blah election, and how did it impact the economy? And if I don't know, I'll be like, that's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't feel like I know enough about it to be able to talk to you about it right now. But that's okay. And I'm finally learning that that's okay. And it should inspire you more to want to research a topic instead of just making something up or pulling out things from your butt. That was probably not the best thing to say on here. I'm trying really hard, okay? I do want to talk about some of the points I want to hit in the future. Hopefully this is a success. You guys should tell me what you liked about this podcast, what you want to see in the future. I really want to make this a learning experience for a lot of people who are kind of scared to talk about politics. And although you guys do know my party, like I said, I'm very, very aligned with Democratic ideals. Even the conservatives out there. I have so many conservative friends that I love. I value our conversations of talking about what we disagree with, talking about, that's a good point, realizing what we have in common. And so if you're even any political party out there, you're watching this, please know I'm going to try to always be as bipartisan as possible. There are a lot of things that I have opinions on, but I'm not ready to talk about them yet. But I want to hear what your thoughts. I want to hear overall politics in general. I want you to tell me how you feel about politics or why you feel a certain way about politics and just different things like that. So please, don't be afraid to comment or talk to me on the side and talk about what you want to hear on this failure of a podcast. Oh my gosh, I see my camera says it's been 12, 13 minutes. Yikes. I'm going to wrap this up. I do want to talk in the future about other political systems and what governments around the globe are doing that we could possibly learn from, that we see doesn't work and would not work for us. But my whole point with that is I'm going to try to show you guys, it's really hard to believe, but America is not the only place on earth. And let me say that again. America is not the only country that is end all be all, has all the answers, knows everything 100% that they're doing. And I think it's going to be important in the future for us to sit back and realize there are other government systems out there. There are other systems that work. There are other systems that I say don't work for us, but could work for that country. And so I think we need to work on being more open-minded. We need to really think that we're not the only country in the world. There are bodies of government out there that are doing what works for them, and they have elements that we could learn from, and so on. So I think I really want to talk about global politics. I'm super into international politics. So hopefully in the future, if no one hates this and this doesn't get all thumbs down, I'm so sorry. It's been kind of dragging on. I'm just really excited. So anyways, I hope I can talk about that in the future and kind of open your eyes to see we are such a globalized world and we can learn a lot from each other. But it sounded rehearsed, but it wasn't. I just didn't have anything else to say. Okay, and then finally, I really think in this series I'm going to start talking about media and how there's no bipartisanship anymore in media. I mean, any channel you watch, you're going to get one take only. And I don't want to say any channel. There are a few, like NPR, BBC. A lot of them are pretty good at showing you both sides and just laying out the facts. But in this day and age of social media, any media at all, they're so far left and far right. It's so hard to find news, to find credible articles and reports that are giving you the facts, that are giving you, the downright facts of what you need to hear without putting a political party spin on it. And so I really wanted to talk about media in future segments of this politicast. Is that a new thing? Did I just make that up? No, I feel like that's a thing. Okay. But I really hope to talk about the media and talk about how that plays a role and how that's been influencing us, and why we should kind of be more aware of what we're being told and what we're hearing, because we should have more open mind outlooks on life, I guess. Please, again, give me some feedback. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me about some of the topics you want me to go over. Again, I am by no means an expert at all. Even my political science professors would say, like, I'm an expert, but I might not know the answers to everything. And I really hope you guys bear with me on that. I will try to research as much as I don't know. And what I do know, I'll try to really share my own thoughts and opinions about things. But just thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making it this far if you did. I know my voice might be annoying. It's not really an ASMR-y voice, but hopefully if you're just doing your own thing, you can put on these podcasts and just kind of have it as background noise and just consider some of the things that I've been talking about. And hopefully I can, by the end of all these videos, prove to you that, politics can be for everyone. Politics can be something that you don't approach in a negative light anymore. And I want everyone out there to realize there's so much good that comes from politics. And if we just kind of work on how we communicate with each other and work on how we talk and approach the subject, I think we would have so much more amazing flowing conversations, and we would learn a lot from each other. So we'll sing Kumbaya to lead us out. I'm just kidding. But thank you again for listening, and hopefully you'll be back in the future when I do more. I've already decided, even if no one watches this, I'm going to do more. Okay, well, I'm taking enough of your time. Remember, just always be good people, always just have a big heart, and just be aware of what you say to other people, and just keep doing your thing. Be a decent human being, people. That's all there is to it. All right, guys, this is Tony, and I am signing off. Thank you.